And it looks like we're underway here for the Ken Shaw Jr. Trophy. This is for the men's second varsity 4. We've got LaSalle in lane 1, Marietta in lane 2, Drexel's in lane 3, Stetson's in lane 4, Colgate in lane 5, and in lane 6 is Mercyhurst. So this is the men's second varsity 4. Should be a good one here. In the time trial yesterday, Drexel had the fastest time by just about 12 seconds over Stetson and Mercyhurst, and then a bit of a gap to Colgate and another to LaSalle and Marietta. In the semifinals, it was LaSalle winning semifinal number 1 by a margin of 5 seconds over Colgate, and then 18 seconds over LaSalle. And in the second semifinal, LaSalle, in that, Drexel finished with a time of 6:49. And then in the second semifinal, Stetson at 6:53 with a margin of 6 seconds over Marietta and then 10 seconds over Mercyhurst. So over the first 500 meters here, not too much breakage from these crews. And it looks like we've got 4 boats across from Drexel, Stetson, Colgate, and Mercyhurst. 5th at the moment is LaSalle, and then Marietta just a bit off the pace in lane 2. Drexel starting to inch out into front, though, in that lane 3 position. There they are.
Yeah, right now we're looking at an almost 5-boat race here that's really shaping up quite nicely here. No one has really decided to make a move to break away from the pack yet. Now, they do still have time to do that, so we'll see what happens in the second half here. But again, a lot of these crews have proven themselves to be quite fit in the second half, so I'm very curious to see where this is going to go. So the stakes are pretty high here again for a lot of these crews, second varsity 8s. These are very hotly contested events. Right now, still looking at Drexel in lane 3, rowing at about a 36. They've kept the rate up pretty high. And then we look over at Stetson in lane 4, rowing in that bucket. And then we look over at Colgate in lane 5. We'll jump back over to LaSalle, and then we go Marietta and Mercyhurst. So right now it is Drexel and then Stetson, who has really dealt with quite a bit of illness, they said, this year. So they've really, like many coaches, overcome something. Their coach says, does anyone say no to illness? Do any coaches not deal with illness over the years? So one of their top seniors was pulled early in the spring because of an undiagnosed tropical malady that has stricken him with exhaustion. So he's still trying to come back from that. So Stetson here, again, doing a great job coming back from some of their illness and really sticking with Drexel here in the lead. So, but now let's keep an eye on Mercyhurst here on the outside, who is really starting to make a move on Stetson, who is starting to squeeze out Colgate in lane 5. Colgate still hanging on bow to stern, but right now we are looking at quite a move here from Mercyhurst on the outside.
Yeah, Drexel's starting to pull away as we enter into the second half of this one. You can see now the bow ball for Stetson just hanging on to the stern deck of this Drexel boat. And look at the puddles on that Drexel boat, just really sending this thing down the race course. Every single stroke for Drexel is intentional at the moment. Those 4 guys look really solid together here. And like Whitney was saying, that Mercyhurst boat doing everything they can to stay even with the boat from Stetson. Here's a nice shot inside that Mercyhurst boat in lane 6. This is one of the first opportunities we've had to see a competitive lane 6 from our launch camera. Mercyhurst just struggling to stay off of that starboard side a little bit. You can see the stroke seat and the 2 seat just kind of getting caught a little bit at the finish, dumping into the finish there. Looks like they fixed it a little bit and are, wow, dead even there with Stetson on the inside lane there in lane 3. So the race for silver is on between Stetson and Mercyhurst as they try and track down this Drexel boat that now has just a little bit of open water on the competition. Looks like Mercyhurst has now drawn dead even with Stetson. I thought maybe Stetson had the advantage by a seat or 2, and now Mercyhurst with the speed through the third 500.
Yeah, again, really impressive here, too. I hate to be a Debbie Downer again, but Mercyhurst also overcoming incredible illness and weather this year. I know I'm the bearer of bad news for this race here, but what that does tell us is how incredible these comebacks have been. So the stakes are high for both of these crews that have overcome so much to be here. And Mercyhurst really throwing down a great performance here, coming back almost from the dead, dare we say, quite literally. So here we are, Mercyhurst and Stetson going head-to-head, giving us an incredibly exciting race. Drexel still in the lead. We've got Colgate sandwiched in between them. LaSalle on the outside in lane 1, trailing just a little bit. But man, I mean, both of these crews just coming back from really difficult seasons of illness and weather, of course, that we've seen across really across the country. Some very difficult weather in the Northeast. We see some geese out there giving Mercyhurst a little bit of another obstacle. They needed more thrown at them.
Looks like it did look like it affected them for a stroke or two.
Actually.
I think they might have missed a stroke there in the bow seat of that Mercyhurst boat, which is unfortunate. Again, with about 300 meters left there when that stroke happened. 250 left to go for our leaders. Drexel in the driver's seat towards the finish line. I thought when we saw that bird's eye view that Stetson actually hit the 500 meter or the 1500 meter mark just a hair out in front of Mercyhurst. So a tough break for Mercyhurst there, getting the geese out in lane 6. Again, part of the reason why lane assignment can just play a factor randomly in these races. It's why you do want to be in the center almost no matter what, even on a fair course like this. You know, those geese sometimes hang out in the outside lanes a bit more often. But as they come to the finish line here, it does look like Stetson has moved out in front of Mercyhurst, but it is Drexel to the line, winning the Ken Shaw Jr. Trophy, and a huge celebration from that 2v4. Stetson for silver, Mercyhurst the bronze. Great race in the men's second varsity 4.
Yeah, you really love to see that jubilation at the end, because these crews do overcome so much, as so many of these coaches were telling me for this season. Everybody dealt with something, and so it just means so much to them to put that kind of work in and overcome all of these stakes that are so high here at the Vail Regatta. And to see them cross the line first just means so much to them. So really incredible race there by Drexel. And then, of course, Stetson and Mercyhurst only about 2 seconds apart here. Stetson with a 650 and Mercyhurst with a 652.4. So very close racing there, followed closely by LaSalle, Marietta, and Colgate, who we will see coming across the line shortly.
First win of the day for Drexel as they look to follow up as points trophy champions. We're going to